Hi, this is Aaryan Kapur, and I would like to discuss about GST and its impact on the Indian economy. GST stands for the Goods and Services Tax. This was implemented in the year 2017, where and it aimed to replace the multi-layer taxation system that we had in existence back then. This not only claimed to simplify, but it also it basically replaced all the value-added taxes, the VAT, the service tax, excise duty, a lot of indirect taxes that were being levied. GST replaced all of them. This was a single tax on sale, on manufacture, and on consumption of goods and services. Particularly, there are three lines of GST. One is the IGST, is the integrated GST. Then there's state SGST, and then there's central, which is CGST. Now, the GST is administered. The tax rates and the policy is decided by the GST Council, and there were multifold objectives and particularly in theory advantages of using GST. The first one being simplification. It just simplified and unified the tax system across the country. Made it simple for people to calculate also. It made it simple for businesses also to calculate how much GST would they be paying, what amount should they already add into their pricing and so on. That made it much simpler for them, and also reduced their high dependence on tax specialists. GST also aimed at increasing tax compliance, as it was again simplified and easier for businesses to file taxes. It was expected that businesses would have increasing compliance and actually understand if they were doing something wrong in that regard. We also wanted to reduce cascading effects, which meant that we would no longer be paying taxes on taxes. So that kind of a waterfall cascading effect, that was one of the aims to solve with GST. We wanted to make India a single market where taxation rates did not affect the formation of mandi, as we've seen previously, which has been a major protest zone, as big manufacturers, big agricultural houses, powerhouses actually took over entire state markets by arbitration, by buying in one low tax zone and moving them legally or semi-legally to markets which had higher duties to actually build a margin and undercut the domestic growers. And it also helped. It also was a push towards legalizing and formalizing businesses in India, where a huge part of our commercial playground is still, let's say, unorganized. GST made it simpler to not only function as a business but also to register and this aimed at reducing the informal sector as well. If we look at particular inclusion and their impact, GST's impact, we had significant impact with manufacturing, where state level taxes got removed. That basically streamlined production costs. We also found low rates and prices for goods due to tax credit being available. With GST on services, actually this was one part which was not taxed, or not taxed properly rather. Now, because of GST, though it did raise the prices for consumers in some service sectors, but it actually made it a new revenue stream for the government, a new reliable revenue stream for the government, and it also helps boost our economy. GST on some farm goods, of course, barring the foreign essentials. Actually, this standardized calculation helped in logistics and making sure that everything was efficient across state borders, where food grains, specifically in this agri-oriented country and economy, a lot of the challenges that the food and agriculture industry did face was somewhat mitigated by GST. And also SMEs also, there was increased compliance burden, but also helped in putting tax credits and basically made them competent on a national scale. Though not everything was a rosy picture with GST. We all have seen the challenges that small business have faced in understanding a more complicated and integrated system of taxes under GST. It also made it very difficult for smaller businesses who did not have a formalized team of advisors and compliance experts and taxation experts to file and maintain records. There was a very high compliance cost, as GST laws initially kept changing, and there were certain reforms and certain updates that were being pushed on, especially by smaller businesses that did not have in-house experts. This became a huge cost for them. States with lower manufacturing levels or service activity initially saw a dip in revenues. That was a problem. But then there was discussion of compensation to states for revenue loss, and has been a concern since. The GST network did face a lot of technical challenges also throughout its initial rollout phases, which also made the ease of filing taxes under GST a little less fruitful, as the technological infrastructure was not much in place, and that also led to delayed refunds for businesses, and that led to liquidity issues and a lot of businesses being shut down. If you look at the long term, the formalization of our economy is a great concept. In my opinion, GST, very strong theoretically, was not implemented to actually leverage its full potential. Um, it has the power to give a huge boost to FDI as we have the transparent and uniform system. It has the potential to formalize our majorly irregularized business and economy side. It helps in revenue generation for the government, and with these benefits, we would also move to greater exports, greater transparency, greater ease of doing business, and would also help our country progress in the future. Concluding, GST has brought with it a few challenges, but it also comes with a lot of benefits. The long-term impact does look fruitful for the economy, but then certain continuous improvements are required as and when each industry and each sector continuously adapts and learns and figures out what is one thing that they could improve with the GST, and the GST also has to keep up with that. Having said that, implementation is key with such major large-scale reforms in terms of economy. These things actually help the nation and help in nation building as a whole. But then we have to keep in mind that we have a solid and robust implementation along with it. Thank you.